Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim at Stamp with Kimberly, and today I have a fun little Halloween card for you. I did show this in one of my other videos, but I was just flipping through showing you different fun folds and things like that. But then one of my viewers had asked me if I had showed this one in a video, and I had not. So thanks for the reminder. I thought I would show you guys this fun card today. It does pop up. It's got lots of little elements to it, and you can put little things down in there and have just a little surprise when you open up this fun fold card. It is your standard Z fold card, but it does have these little dividers in between here that makes it fun. I am going to be using Spooky Sweet designer paper. Now with the designer paper, they have lots and lots of really cool fun patterns in here, but they also have the ephemera pack that you could use. So for this one, I used the Spooky Halloween stamp set and dies, and that's what we're going to use today. But if you didn't want to color and cut out and do all that, you can make this card just with the designer paper and then using the ephemera. So I just wanted to point that out if you're looking for a simple, quick card. Now, the other thing I did is, if you look on here, I added grass. Now that is a Cricut cut that I used. You can just search grass in Cricut and pick the size that you want, and it'll cut it out for you. So that's the only other thing that I did that you might want to do. You don't have to. You could always, if you have the old picking, I think they're called like picking shears or something, that makes it look like grass, you can use those. You could cut your own grass. So there's lots and lots of different ways to do this. But I'm going to show you how to do the basic pattern of it, and we're going to make this card today. So what you need first is a piece of 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to do some scoring on this. And actually, that looks kind of rough. So I need to change my blade, it looks like, but if you ever get paper that has like these little nubby things on the end, you can always take like a little nail file or a sanding block or something like that and just kind of clean that up and get that off. Works like a charm. So let's go back to 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score this at 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2. Okay, just 2 score lines. Now you need a piece of 11 by 1 1/2, and this is going to be scored at 5 1/2 and at 8 1/4. Let me make sure you guys can see that there. Okay. And that is the only score lines on that. So while we're scoring, I'm going to bring in, you also need 3 pieces of cardstock, and this is going to be the center pieces here. So this is 3 1/2 by 1 5/8. Yes. So 3 1/2 by 1 5/8, and you need 3 pieces. So if you don't know where the 1 5/8 is, you go to 1 1/2, and then it's like 2 little knots past that. So that's your 5/8. Now what we're going to do is we're going to score these each end on all 3 pieces, and we're going to score that at 3/8. So if you're not sure where that is, then you can go to the 1/4 inch mark, and I usually use this side. It's easier to hold the paper. So if you go to the 1/4 inch mark and then you go over to this way, to your right, then that is going to be your 3/8. So we're going to score it there. So again, 1/4 plus 2. And then we're going to do it again, 1/4 plus 2. And this just gives you enough room here to be able to put tear tape on so that it holds onto your card better. And then this one, I think, yeah, I already did both ends on this one. So that is all of the scoring that you need to do for this whole card. So now what I'm going to do is, this is our inside piece here. So we're going to do a little ink blending and stamping on this. I'm going to bring in my blender brushes. I have blue and I have yellow, and I'm just going to lay a really light shade of blue down on here. I want it a little bit darker than that, so let me get some scrap paper here. So when you're ink blending, you just pick up some color and then kind of knock some off on the side. We just want it to kind of look like a night sky here. I don't want a whole lot of color, just a little. And you don't even have to do down to the bottom, just up top. Okay. That would actually look spookier than my other one. I kind of like that. And then I'm going to bring in yellow because we're going to pretend this is a moon. Now, if you wanted to, you could take a circle punch and you can make yourself a stencil. Let me show you some of the stencils that I have. So like if you took a circle and you punched out, then you could do this if you wanted a really big moon. But sometimes I do this with acetate paper and make my own stencils. This is a great way to get a perfect circle if that's what you want. You could always do this, or you could just wing it and add some yellow color. I'll use this today just for fun. So we're going to take this, and I'm just going to drop some yellow color here. I'm sorry if my camera is shaking. I moved my table, and I have a feeling I'm going to need to go back to my old table because I can't seem to get the shake to stop. This arm is not long enough for the camera. So I'm sorry if we're moving here. I don't want to make anybody sick. So now we have like this little fun moon, and I'm going to add just a little bit more blue around here. I love ink blending, and just you can make it as soft or as light as you want. I think that looks kind of cool. Okay, so put these over here. Now I need a few bats. So there's these fun bats that stamps all of them at the same time in the Spooky Halloween. So I'm going to bring these in, and I'm going to use Memento. Are you guys in close enough? I'm sorry. There we go. Let's do that. So we're going to stamp a few. Well, that one doesn't want to cover. There we go. Stamp a few little bats there. And then I'm going to bring in pumpkin pie. And there's another stamp in here that's like little sparkles. You could use them as stars or whatever. I'm just going to add these up here in the corner. And I think I'm going to do a few more. Okay. So there's our base, and we are going to layer this onto a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 black. And this is going to be just like that. I love sending out Halloween cards. A lot of people don't send them, but some people do, but it's just so much fun for the kids. They always like getting happy mail, so I think it's fun to send it out. So come back to your base here, and we're just going to score this on, or fold it on the score lines there. So you have your typical Z fold right there. And then this is going to sit right in here. So if you don't get all the measurements for this while I'm making it, you can always go back and watch the replay. But I will post this over on Stamp with Kimberly on my blog, and that way the dimensions will be over there for you. You can go back and either print them off or check them out anytime that you want. Okay, so now we have that. Now I have 2 pieces of black, and then I also cut 2 pieces of the designer paper. The black is 2.5 by 4, and then this is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. So we're going to layer these up. I like this little fun candy pattern on here. Can't have Halloween without candy, right? So we got 2 pieces of this. Okay, remove this out of the way. So I'm going to bring this back in, and these are going to fit perfect on our other 2 panels. And they do have little bats on them, so you want to make sure that your bats are flying the right direction. Okay, so 1 more. Just like that. Okay, so that alone is super cute. You could always just use this design and then put like a piece of ephemera. Like, you could take your ephemera here. Let's find something cute in here. You kind of want something big. I think there's a hippo in here still. You could take him and put him there, have him sitting on something, and then just have it fold out like that. That would be super cute. Then there's this really big tree. I don't even know if this would fit. Yes, it will. So that might be cute there too. Let's get a big old tree. All right. But today we're going to go ahead and we are going to stamp. So I'm going to bring in some scrap paper here. I got a couple pieces, and we are going to stamp this cute little puppy. Okay, and then there is a cute little cat on here. Okay, where's the kitty? There it is. So one thing about clear stamps, you lose them very easily. Okay, so we're going to stamp the kitty there. And then we have the pumpkin. She's holding out her arm like she needs to be holding something, and he's holding out his arm. So there's a pumpkin and there's a little broomstick in the set too. So we're going to stamp these. Oops, I only need 1 of those. I guess it never hurts to stamp more than 1. There is 2 dies to the pumpkin in this set, so it makes it kind of handy. If you want to stamp 1, you might as well stamp 2. And then you can cut them both out at the same time. So there's our stamped pieces. I think that's it. And what I usually do is I put a piece of mint tape or washi tape or something like that on here. And I usually cut mine out first before I color. Some people like to color and then cut them out. It seems like when I do that, then it moves on me and then I have to redo them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and then we will come back and do a little bit of coloring. So here's my pumpkin. Look at that. Okay. Oh, I do have to stamp one more thing. So our sentiment in here is Happy Halloween. So I'm going to stamp that, and I'm going to use a label again. And so I'm going to stamp close up here to the top because I'm going to be cutting off the bottom so that it sticks down in there. So that is, you can do Happy Halloween. You can do No Tricks, All Treats. I'm just going to do a Happy Halloween. I'm just going to stamp it up here at the top. Now I can put this in the die cut machine and cut it just like that, and then this will be hidden. So I will be right back. Let me go die cut all these, and then we'll come back and color. before I go cut those, we also do need a few other pieces. So I'm going to bring in a piece of black scrap paper, and then we need our spooky house, and then we have our fence, and then we have our bats as well. So I'm going to cut these out with it. And the die I'm using to cut out Happy Halloween, that is going to be from the Nested Essentials. So there's lots and lots of different designs in here. So I'm going to use this to cut it out just like that. Okay, so now I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all my die cut pieces done, and this is how I ended up doing the label. So I just stamped it up towards the top, and then I just cut it straight off at the bottom. That'll give me enough space to tuck this in behind my grass. I may have to trim it up just a little bit more. So there is our black pieces, and I like these bats too because it cuts out two of those at the same time as well. So we're going to do a little coloring on our stuff here. We got the kitty. I'm going to color her. She is a dark smoky slate. We're going to do her tail. Do her hand. And then I think I have a lighter. Let's do this light smoky slate. This marker's about had it, but we're going to try to make it work here. We'll do her face a little bit lighter so we can see it. I like using my brush end, but like I said, that end has had it. I need to get a new marker. I was laughing when I was pulling these out. I have about 5 of the dark crumb cake, which means I've had about 5 of the light crumb cake, and I'm down to 1 of those. So you can definitely tell which one I use the most. All right, and then we're going to color her little shirt here. This is light fresh freesia. Oh, I just realized I forgot her other hand. Okay, go back in and color her hand. And then we'll do her little skirt here in dark lemon lime twist. She's got her little leggings here. We'll do those in stripes. Get the nose. Okay, she's looking all dressed up here. And then we'll do her shoes in brown here. Okay, so she's good. And she's going to be holding her broomstick here. So I'm going to bring in a dark yellow. Okay. So I can put a little bit of glue right on the tip of her hand here. That way that can stick on there while we're coloring the other piece. Just like that. Then we have the pumpkin. This is the only one you might have trouble trying to hold and color before you die cut it. So it might be easier to color it and then cut it out, but sometimes we just like doing things backwards. So we got his shorts, and he's supposed to be a little Frankenstein here, so we got to color his shirt green. And we'll do his legging socks here. All right. And then I'm going to color him a crumb cake. We're going to do the light. Got his little chest here. Can't believe Halloween is right around the corner. We always do Halloween camping, so it comes even earlier for us than October. So it's kind of weird to start thinking about costumes and things like that that we need to get together. Okay, and then I'm going to do his little lollipop here. We're going to do that. Oop, see? That's what happens when they get wore out. So we're going to do this one in the dark daffodil again. All right, and then his socks. He's got a lot of little pieces to him. There we go. So we got them all colored and ready to go. So we're going to put that off to the side, and we're going to work on our extra little piece here. So you have your long piece and you have 2 score lines in it, and then we're going to put designer paper on it. And the designer paper, let me move you guys back out a little bit. The designer paper strips, these are 5 1/4 by 1 1/4, and then 2 strips that are 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. So we're going to put these on. Okay. One more. Just like that. Okay. And I can go ahead and put my Happy Halloween on, and I'm going to cover this up with my grass. So my grass is just going to go right over top of it, but I'm not putting my grass on yet. I'm going to wait and put my little girl on. So I just want to judge how, I think I'm going to take off just a little snip off the bottom of this. It's just a little bit too long here. Just like that. So I can put this right down here. Just like that. Okay, so we need to put this on our card, and what you're going to do is the long end goes to the left, so you're going to only glue this front panel right here. You're going to glue this down. Now we are going to end up gluing this panel down, the very last one, because the card is going to fold up like that, but I find it easier if you don't glue this down yet, because we are going to be putting, remember those 3 extra panels? We're going to be putting these in here as well. And it's really hard to get to them if you already have this end glued down. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit of adhesive. I'll put it on this one. Now we're not going to go all the way. We're just going to go a little ways so that it sticks right here. You go all the way to the edge, and we're just going to glue that down. Okay. So these pieces here, like I said, I found it easier, and I did want to tell you guys too. So I told you the wrong measurements for these. So these are only going to be as tall as this piece, and this piece was 1 1/2. Yeah, I said 1 5/8 and they're 1 1/2. So I just cut those down just a little bit because you don't want these taller than this piece. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either put them on here first, on this center piece right here, or you can put them on this center piece right here, okay? So I think it's going to be easier to try to line them up on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my tear and tape. I'm going to score these here, just bend them back a little bit. I'm going to put tear tape on them. Okay. And get my poker here. So we are only going to lay these. We want to make sure that they're right the same height as this. But so what we're going to do, this is kind of tricky, I'm not going to lie, but we want to make sure, we want to hold them so that these are even. Okay, see how I got these the same height here? And then I have that one bent back, so that one, the first one stuck, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to take the next one. And we're going to do the same thing. But now that we know where these are, we're just going to kind of line it up with the one that we already have here. So we're just going to slide it over a little ways. And we're going to glue that one down. Okay, so now you got 2 of them. And then we're going to do the last one. We're going to do the same thing. Just slide it over a little bit. And then stick it down. Okay, so now you have your 3 inserts here. Okay, so we can take all of these and we're going to just take the tear tape off of all of them. Just like that. And now that these are flat, because you know when you make a fun fold like this, you always want to lay it flat to do it, because it might look really good up here, but then when you go to fold it flat to put in your envelope, it doesn't lay right. So I just took the tear tape off, lay this down completely flat. So now you have them all attached just like that. Okay, so that was pretty easy there. So this little extra piece here, this is what we're going to glue down. This thing's being stubborn today. All right, so we just want to make sure we're straight here. We're going to just push it all the way down. So now it's nice and flat, but when you stand it up, it's like that. So you can put as many of these in here as you want. I just put 3. You could fit 4. Just depends on how much stuff you want to pop up and how much stuff that you want to put in there. So that's totally up to you. So we're going to get our little girl here and we're going to glue her down. And I'm just going to put a little glue down here at the bottom. And I'm going to put her like right here. Kind of up off of that, because remember, we're putting the grass down. Oh, I guess I need to bring her down a little bit. She is floating in the air. There we go. That'll work. Maybe a little more. She's supposed to be sweeping here, I think. There we go. All right. And then same thing with our little dog over here. We're going to pop him in here. I'll just put him down here. Okay. And then we can add our grass. Now I just, I had measured how long it was approximately from here to here and here to here and here to here. And so that's how I ended up cutting my grass. So you can do your grass any way you want. There we go. Okay. And, oh, I forgot to put his bucket on. So he needs his pumpkin. I'm going to slide this right underneath his hand here. There we go. Put a little bit more glue there to hold him. All right. So we have our bats here. Let me bring in, well, this one doesn't want to come to me. There we go. So I'm going to use a few little mini dimensionals on these. And I'm going to pop these in here. Let's put the other one on the front here. Okay. And then we have our house. So I'm going to glue the front side because I'm going to put it all the way to the back here. Okay. So it just depends how many, again, that you want to put in here and if you want to put them in the front or the back, but I'm going to put mine all the way towards the back. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the front of this house. And I'm just going to go like that, push it down. You want to make sure too, check it every once in a while to make sure that when you fold it, it's not going to interfere with your folds there. I think that one's good. It's a little crooked, but it's good. There we go. And then the same thing with this little fence post here. I'm just going to put glue right down at the bottom. I'm going to stick it in here. It fits perfectly, actually. And make sure that's straight and push it down. Just like that. Okay. So it's really not hard. It looks like it's difficult, and it does have a lot of little pieces to it, but it's really not hard. On this one, actually, I forgot to stamp the other kitty. So you can add her if you want. I forgot to stamp her though. So, but that is the basic idea of how you make this. And I could still add 2 more things in here if I wanted to, and I could totally fill this up. But I think it's super cute. And to finish it off, let's add, these are the fun shimmer star foam things. I love these. They're like so squishy. So I'm going to add the purple ones. And these are just like little squishy foam things. They're super cute. And they definitely don't add bulk to your card because they are so squishy. I'm going to add a few on the front here. Can't have too many little glimmer dots, right? So there you go. Okay, so there you go. There's the cute little fun fold Halloween card. So I hope you make this, and I hope whoever you send it to, it puts a smile on their face. And if you'd like to see more projects like this, then make sure that you're subscribed and you can hit the like button. They'll notify you when I put out a new video, and I really appreciate it. And for those, I loved that you reminded me that I hadn't showed this yet. And so I love input like that. And that just reminds me that, oh yeah, I need to make this or I need to make that. So I really do appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.